This is Mainstream Metaphysics with your host, Nick Newmont.
Five-year anniversary show, and it is 5 years exactly to the day. October 29th, 2019, we started this in another location, and we have some incredible special guests, and that's why it's 90 minutes, and I do mean special guests that have been on the show before, but you are not going to want to miss it. I can't wait to do it. Audrey will be with me through the entire show, and we'll talk about all the incarnations of mainstream metaphysics. There is Audrey. Hello, hello, hello. And I want to back up for 1 second, and I want to thank Carol Allen for being on the show next week. And basically both of us having the guts to take the risk of doing presidential predictions, because somebody's going to be right and someone's going to be wrong, and that is just the way it is. But enough of that. Tonight, we have the psychic panel that's appearing this coming Saturday at the Newmont Center from 11 to 2. We have Mary Elizabeth, Inanna, and Gina Ann on the show tonight, and really looking forward to them being with me. And they're all coming via Zoom. They're not in the house. I'm sitting here by myself tonight on this beautiful evening. And whenever they can come on, we will bring them on. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. We always do. When these ladies come on the show, it sparks a lot of viewership and makes for a good show. This coming Saturday at the center from 11 to 2, we do the panel, and then we break into individual rooms and do private readings for people. So, and we will be looking at the year ahead, because it is toward the end of October 26th. And before you know it, we'll be at Thanksgiving, we'll be at Christmas, and we'll be in 2025. And one can say it certainly has not been boring, right? So, and we do have, as usual, Ed Hunt, behind the cameras over there. Thank you, Ed, taking care of us as always. And again, whenever they would like to come on, they can come on. I'm done with any announcements. And I also, to our viewers and everybody that's on Facebook, I want to say thank you to everyone, all the birthday wishes that I received. That was really cool. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. So, on screen, we have Mary Elizabeth, Inanna, and Gina Ann. Gina Ann is literally mobile. She's in the car. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Nothing like a psychic on the go, right?
I didn't want to miss it. That's right.
How are you? Seriously, how are you, ladies?
Great.
Fabulous.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, I want to say something first before we delve into our show, and this is for you. I always go back through the numbers on the show, and I look at viewership, and the amount of viewers and plays has a lot to do with who I invite back on the show. And some people in context would be a good topic, but they don't make for an interesting show, and the viewership can go down. And it's a shame, because in that case, a lot of people missed a good show. You three ladies as a group make for a good viewership, and also individually, when I've gone back and looked at your individual numbers, they are very good too. So thank you. And because you are here tonight, tonight is a little teeny bit of pre-anniversary. Next week is a huge show for us. 5 years literally to the day next Tuesday that this show has been in a couple different incarnations, and it's hard to believe that 5 years ago we started this. And if you do watch next week's show, you'll see some people that are on that were very integral as to how the show actually got going and how it started. But I wanted to say thank you to both of you, all three of you in 2024. And I think with Mary Elizabeth, we go back into 2023, that
Yes.
you have been recent bigger contributors to mainstream metaphysics and have been on the show a number of times, and also been on Audrey's show too. So the Newmont Center and myself and Audrey, we appreciate you and your contributions, and also your work is very valuable, because when we have the panel, people attend, and also people break up into private sessions with all of you. So look, we psychics, however you want to call yourself, medium, channel, psychic, whatever you do, is we're playing an important role in the world right now. And we may not be run-of-the-mill therapists that people go and tell all their problems to, but we have a huge effect on the well-being of individuals, at the very least supplying a level of hope. And most of the time, I'd like to think that we are bearers of good news to people. I mean, we all like to give good news. Nobody really likes to have to give, let's call it challenging news, because sometimes life has its twists and turns. And just because you're driving across country and there's a detour, that doesn't mean you're not going to get to your destination. You might just have to take a different road to get there. Inanna, I'm going to go to you because I see you laughing there. What are you thinking, kiddo?
I think we're in for, the times will be very different than what any of us have seen in our lifetimes. So we're going to experience a lot of shifts that will be talked about for generations, if not hundreds of years.
Well, I think we all already are, given my age. I don't need to use that number on the air. That'd be like cursing. Look, we've seen a lot. I grew up in the Leave It to Beaver era, and it's just not like that anymore. And also, you don't have to be, excuse me, you don't have to be an astrologer to understand the bearing of the meaning of the age of Aquarius. It's not peace, flowers, and hippies. It's a jolt, and it's a major change. It's an age change, in civilization right now. So we kind of expected a bumpy road. Go ahead. Mary Elizabeth, you want to weigh in on that?
Absolutely. With the changes that are coming, and there will be many, and there will be, and as you said, Nick, we're already in a space where we're going, this isn't the world I know. This isn't the world I grew up in. The reactions we're having, the intensity of energy. But actually, if you were to look back over time, where we are here is just at a shifting point, and you've seen it previously throughout history. Humanity comes cyclic in its, shall we say, inability to allow change to come with ease. So as we are moving through into this next juncture, what we would like to say to each and every one of you is find the space within yourself where you allow your own discernment to be, where you understand that you are, in part, creating the reality for all of humanity, but most importantly, you are creating your own. So be mindful of your focus, be mindful of your energy, be mindful of what you're bringing to the table, too. Because if you buy into the disruptive energy, there will be more disruption for you to see. So allow yourself to follow your own lead and choose to be in that space of your true energy and understand that what is happening is necessary to take you to the next phase for all of humanity.
Well put. Well put. Ladies, when you're working with your private clients, what are people either asking about or worried about? Because fear is running rampant in the populace right now.
Okay, I'm going to jump in. There's a big focus right now for many of the clients I see is they're worried about losing what they have because of the uncertainty they feel. And there's also that space within themselves. What is happening in me? Because we all seem to be owning the energy of the shifting reality. And we're all a little discombobulated in what does this mean for me? What is happening to me? I have a lot of clients calling who just say, I feel like I'm being torn in 20 zillion directions and I'm not sure which way to be. So that's what I'm seeing. There's a lot of self confusion. And there's also a lot of self reflection coming through because a lot of old energy is coming up that needs releasing so they can embrace the new.
Right, right. Do you notice that, and this is for any of you, that and by the way, weeks ago Merlin weighed in on this. When it comes to the upcoming election, Merlin said that the problem isn't with the candidates, it's with the people, that they are projecting fear from themselves that the wrong candidate is going to get elected. You know, Merlin keeps it short and sweet. So go ahead and weigh in on a statement like that. That didn't come from me, that came from spirit. People's
Well,
fear.
I'm happy to. So, my background, my degree is in political science, and I joke I'm a law school dropout, which is better than being a law school reject. So I have a lot of experience. My concentration was in constitutional law. And I'll give this little teaser, but we are really in a predicament because our Constitution says our presidential election must happen per the mandates of the Constitution. However, how can we have a fair and impartial election with so many things that have happened right now in our country? And I'm talking about, of course, some of the natural disasters. I'm talking about some of the other, things that are happening all around us. And so we really are at a place where there is a viable timeline right now where we will have an election that cannot be certified, and we will have this go to the Supreme Court, and we will actually see the Supreme Court possibly determine who will be the president of our country moving forward. Because there are certain mandates within our Constitution that are going to come into play. And as someone who has spent a lifetime studying this, I'm just telling you, it's unprecedented as far as, the brief history of our country and what's going to happen. So the timelines look very interesting, and it actually looks like we could end up with something wildly unexpected with what's going to happen. And the people that have been with me for a long time, by the way, because they know that in 19, I told them to prepare for COVID in 2020. And so if you've been with me for a while, you're already ready for what's coming up because you are well stocked. You know all of the viruses and the germs and everything that's going to hit. You know what to have to protect yourself. So you're not going into fear right now. You're prepped, you're ready, and you're good, and you're in a place of expansion and building.
Right. I think it's a good motto is to expect the best and prepare for the worst. So your mentality is to expect the best, but you've stockpiled what you need.
fearful people are easy to control. So if we're not afraid, we're not easy to
Right.
control.
Right. I want to say something
Exactly.
to the populace. People did an incredible job in prayer, contemplation, whatever you want to call it, to move the bulk of the energy of that hurricane a couple weeks ago. People did an incredible job. And so the power of humanity, when people go in and own their energy, they can overcome anything. I don't care if it's natural or man-made. You know,
Exactly.
aren't we quote unquote God made?
Exactly. God
So,
experiencing it.
Yes.
right. So we can do whatever we need to do. On sort of a, it's not meant to be a tongue-in-cheek note, but when it comes to the election, whoever wins on some level is going to come out the loser, because the opposition and the uprising against whoever wins is going to be unbelievable, and whoever wins will be held under the microscope to such a degree it will be challenging to be able to move forward and accomplish. Doesn't mean that they won't get things done. It's just going to be difficult based on the amount of fear at this moment. If what people are projecting, it's going to create a challenge, you know, going into
It's
2025.
it's
What?
Excuse me, Nick. I didn't mean
Yes,
to interrupt, but
go
it's
ahead.
if you think about it, if you look back over for the last 12 years, it's been a challenge. We're seeing more and more of that resistance that has made it more challenging for the person elected to try to move forward in their own agenda, in their own course for the country.
Sure, sure. Yep, that's true. Gina Ann, I know you're driving. Do you want to weigh in on this at all? I think she's frozen at the moment. Okay, might be in a bad area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we'll get her back. That's fine. So, are you already getting any insight or messages as to what you'll be talking about this coming Saturday? I mean, we never know what the audience is going to present, but are you feeling? I see Inanna smiling there. Are you feeling anything that you're compelled or spirit wants you to say?
Well, for me, I think spirit is going to have me mostly channel, messages from higher beings to try to bring some sort of balance to the current situation. So I have a feeling that I'll be channeling a lot of galactic energy on
Okay.
Saturday and bringing those messages. And, the thing, if anyone's ever seen the movie Minority Report, go check that out, because
Oh God.
the claircogs, right? The psychics that did this were always saying, you can choose, you can choose, you can choose. And I
Right.
can very clearly see the timeline we're on. And I am saying to all of humanity, let's choose differently.
Well,
Let's choose differently. And,
you know what's fascinating? We talked about this last week on the show, where I looked at 2025 in the chart of the United States of America, and there's actually some incredible things that show up for next year. So something is definitely going to go right. That's for sure. Gina
It's
Ann, now you're unfroze. Do you want
Yes.
to weigh in?
Good. Yeah, no, I've been processing everything and paying attention. And, most of my clients are in scarcity mode. And what I've been encouraging them is to ride this wave, because so many things are happening, natural disaster, election. It's like we're kind of walking around zombie like. And we're breaking we're like, the world is collapsing. Our inner worlds and our outer worlds. So this is our opportunity to rebuild step by step. So I'm not getting an intuitive feel, which I don't like to have any preconceived when I go in on Saturday. I
Yeah,
like to feel the air. As soon as I walk in, I'll know.
sure, sure.
I get we're going to get a crowd of people that are wanting individual predictions rather than worldwide, because we're kind of in the mode of, oh my God, what's happening to me? We got to get back into the unity. And then we're like, I love what you said about the hurricane. We're more powerful when we're pulled together.
Yes, yes. And haven't we been feeling for a chunk of years now that we are intentionally being divided?
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
So,
The
intentionally.
interesting
That's the
aspect.
operative word.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine.
go ahead,
No,
Mary Elizabeth.
it's the aspect when you ask what will we speak about. I never know what we's going to talk about, but the idea is we all have our own power here. We are not helpless. We are not under others' control unless we allow that to be. So it will be, I'm sure, because it's been that way with every client recently, about owning your own power, standing in your own truth, and trusting that you have everything you need to move through and the answers will come through. Will there be disasters? Yes. Will there be upheaval? Yes. But how you choose to respond to it is totally up to you. And that is the area where we can give others the knowledge that they have the power they need. They don't need to be in that fear energy
Right,
because we can shift our world. And when we shift our world, we shift the world for others.
exactly. And that's in
Yeah.
times like this, people have a tendency to get so caught up in what the problem is. And Audrey says so eloquently, once you've identified the problem, focus on the solution. And that's where we have to be. We have to be part of the solution. And you can say in a sort of a business like fashion, if you're not part of the solution, then you're part of the problem.
The problem.
Right? Right.
Exactly.
You know,
So,
Exactly.
absolutely. I'm a huge fan of Greg Braden, Dr. Joe, Bruce Lipton, and the quantum scientists, right? And they
right,
say every time we choose to respond differently, we are creating a new pattern or we are creating a new template in the universe, in the matrix, in the energy field that allows others a different way out. So
right,
light workers, star seeds, star beings,
right,
angel whisperers, healers, every time we respond differently, every time we create a different regulated emotion within our being, we are creating a new template that then sets an opening door or a nudge or a whisper for someone else to follow.
right, right.
Right.
And
Exactly.
that's and if
It's not, it's how you react to the situation that it becomes the situation. And psychics are actually a necessity. It is therapy. We are therapists
right,
Yes.
because we're giving a guide on a broader, more esoteric scale. There's no logic or cognitive, there is science to it too, but people are being drawn to psychics and healers because the other alternatives are not working for them
that's true. And what
anymore.
and to go back to what Inanna said, that in a manner of speaking, we are trailblazers. We create
Yep,
paths for people that they would never know are there. We
correct.
we see things unfold, so we find those paths. We are eyes for other people, or many people.
And we are the light to illuminate that possibility. We are the light to illuminate the path when someone is in the darkness.
Right, right. And there are,
Amen.
when you look at things quantum physically, even though you could look at a situation and say, well, there's only a few possible scenarios of how this could play out, actually, that's not true. There are many possibilities because once you start to take action, there can be an action behind that action and a different action behind those actions and different actions behind those actions. So, but when people look at things too linearly, they only see it this way. And the breadth of the path of life is infinitely wide. Unfortunately, humans see their lives as this is their path, and if they deviate too much, many of my clients have said, well, I'm off my path. No, you're not off your path. If you're off your path, you'd be dead. your path
Exactly.
expands. You
Yeah.
may not be taking the direct approach to what your destination is. You may be doing this, but you are on your path. The Rainbow
Vertical
Bridge
time.
is
Vertical
very
time.
right, right, exactly.
What a beautiful way to put that, Nick.
Thanks.
The breadth of the path of the world.
Yeah. As long as you're alive and kicking, you've got a lot of choices.
Yeah,
And
beautiful. That's a
thank you.
T-shirt.
What, that's a T-shirt.
That's a T-shirt. We could move. Yes.
Remember that, okay? That
Okay.
what
All
you
right.
remember that, and we'll look at that. That's
Okay.
funny. That's funny because you all of you know that we have those mugs at the Newmont Center, and there is
Love that one.
another rendition of the mug that's coming for holidays. But we were talking about the possibility of a baseball cap and maybe like a polo shirt. But other than Newmont Center, which is Newmont Center, what would we put on there? And that could be it, Gina Ann.
That was beautiful, beautifully said. I just went ding, ding, ding.
All right. Well, I'll run that past Audrey. But please remember
Okay.
what that was, because I'm just spewing information out, and it's out of my
Of
mouth
course.
and beyond my ears.
Yeah, I hear that.
So very quickly, as we're at the bottom of the hour, I'd like you to go through, starting with Mary Elizabeth, and for people that want private readings this coming Saturday after the panel, you will have to contact either, if you went with me, or if the ladies, you have to contact them individually, please. I don't set the private appointments for them. So, Mary Elizabeth, how do people get in touch with you for private sessions on Saturday after the panel?
For this event, the easiest, quickest way to get a hold of me is via text. Just text me that you are interested to see what times are open. You text me at 661 524 4544. That's 661 524 4544. And just say you're interested in a session, and I'll let you know what's available. And just so everybody knows, I have a bit of a vision thing, so I will only be available until about 3:45.
Question. I was looking
Yes.
at the original announcement, ME. If people wanted to come earlier before the panel started, would you take people?
Yes, I
I
will.
will.
Okay. All
Yes.
right.
I will. As long as you guys don't mind, I will take people prior to. I just can't drive when it's getting dusk. I cannot see.
Okay. Well, just so you know, if it ever comes up, we have beautiful extra space at Chez Newmont. You would have your own suite. So,
I wouldn't even be able to get to your house. That's the thing. Because once it's dark, I don't walk outside because I cannot see.
well, you would leave your car at the center and we would drive you there.
Okay, you would drive me. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay. All right. I see Inanna has put her number on the screen, but verbally say it to Inanna for private sessions on
Correct.
Saturday.
Text only, because I'm not answering the phone, just so you know. I'm just saying. 323-330-44.
It's a discounted rate from what we normally charge. So we're being generous that way also, and thank you, all of you, doing that. And for any questions about Sunday or a private session with me, any question about the event, you can call the center at 818-865-8770, and you can also text that number too. So the last time we got together, the four of us, it was really good. I mean, it was really good. And I'm really looking forward to doing this with you this coming Saturday. The timing is perfect. We're, a week and a half away from the election. We're at that point 2 months away from the end of the year. I mean, October 26th is, you look at December 26th. So what are we, 9 weeks away from a new year? What else have you? What else have people been asking you about? Not maybe so much in a panicked way, but what else are your clients asking you? Like what information are they trying to extract from you, aside from winning lottery numbers?
Nobody ever asked me
my
that
client,
one.
oh, sorry.
That's funny. I have to tell you a funny anecdote. So recently, I got a new client referred by someone, and she schedules energy work, and she starts talking about the fact that she's a gambler, and she wants to know what kind of direction she's going to get because she wants to go to Vegas and win big. And I said,
Oh,
well, the spirit guides do not do that. But then she comes back a week later and actually has a reading. I did her astrology, and believe it or not, she is going into a lucky year, and she's one of those people that does have that kind of weird luck. But I would never ethically tell any client, you should go to Las Vegas and play. That'd be like
yeah.
telling
I
someone,
No.
see.
that's like telling someone to go
I
drink heavily.
No, spirits told
Yeah.
me before, and I've walked out with 14 grand
I know
to
you've
go to the
had stuff
casino.
like that.
Yeah, and I've had a client when, and I always tell people, don't make the lottery your prosperity plan. I had another client that Spirit said, if you want to buy a lottery ticket, go. And she won $68,000 that evening. Now it's alignment. It's a point of alignment. It has nothing to do with it's just if
Right.
that's one way you can receive money.
Right.
I actually have another client that won more than $250,000.
What
So, I mean, I don't have
happens?
judgment on, I don't have judgment on it myself. And so if spirit gives someone that message, but I know for me, spirit had told me, I was teaching a class in alchemy and I said, I'm going to manifest $10,000 out of thin air. And I thought it was going to come one way, but I was open. On a whim, I stopped at the casino in Norman, Oklahoma, and I left with 14 grand. So, I'm just like, money can fall from the sky, right? So if your alignment with prosperity, it can come from a lottery ticket, it can come from an investment. I have a client that made 180 grand in 3 hours doing penny stocks. So if your point of attraction is prosperity, it's going to find you in whatever way,
Of
right?
course.
Whatever way.
Look,
Exactly.
Whatever way.
when it comes to abundance and prosperity, it's always coming our way. It's that we get in the way of it.
Exactly.
We
Absolutely.
create because of belief systems. When people say, I don't believe in that, or miracles don't happen, well, in fact, that's kind of funny because miracles are happening all the time. And
Every
if they
day.
weren't, some of us probably wouldn't be on the planet right now talking.
That's right.
Exactly.
I mean,
Marianne
We're in
Williamson,
a miracle space.
shift in perception.
right?
Yeah.
Well, I think that
Yeah,
would
and
be, you never know what's going to happen Saturday and what we're going to be asked. But I think that what we just said there, what started out sort of funny, that I think people need to be reminded that miracles do happen all the time, to expect them, to program for them. And it's sometimes it's so sweet, but it's sad. And then after I say this, go ahead and weigh in on this, that people will ask me sometime, do I have any spirit guides? Do I have any angels? And it's like, oh. And it breaks my heart when they ask that because people have a lot. We wouldn't get through life without that invisible army. But go ahead, take over now. I want to hear what you have to say about that, ladies.
That is a question that
Yeah,
people
that's
ask often. And I always say to you, do you hear that voice in your head, that voice inside that whispers to you? That is a spirit guide. That is an angel with you. And sometimes what people don't understand about angels, they're always with us, but we have to ask them. They're there to walk with us and help us when we need, but we need to ask because we need to have the conversation just as we need to have the conversation with the universe because we're in partnership.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that is a common question. And when you give an answer that lets them see, then it's like, oh, really? Even with me, I have somebody? But you have more than somebody. We are all surrounded on a level that we can't even possibly conceive.
Anyone else on that? Thank you.
yeah. There's a lot of aloneness.
Yeah.
we lost her again.
Oh, she said there was a lot of
Well,
aloneness, and there she went.
and
And
then
then she
To
disappeared.
She disappeared. She
Oh, sorry.
slipped through a
There you go.
quantum
There
there.
you are, Jean. We see ya.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you. No, aloneness is another thing that I get a lot with my clients. They feel like no one's surrounding them or helping them, and I said, so I teach them or I show them or I guide them who's around them. They think they want this big thing to jump out of the sky, and it doesn't work that way. It can,
Right.
and
Come
I
here,
think
Poops.
angels
The
and spirit
proverbial
guides
burning
are.
bush.
It comes in many forms.
It does.
Yeah, it does. What'd you say, Inanna? I think I heard you.
The proverbial burning bush,
Sure.
right? You know, we want it to be the
Yes,
burning
yes, yeah,
bush. We want it to be loud, and it
yeah.
absolutely can come that way. But I found that most of the time, it's learning how to listen to the whispers of God in a world that learns how to that loves how to. Wait, hold on. Let me try that again. Learning to listen to the whispers of God in a world that loves to scream. There you go.
Well put. Definitely.
You know, and that's it. It's those silent moments, it's those synchronicities. It is just turning down the volume of the world and turning up the volume of your heart and creating a sacred space where you connect to that every single day for the practice. Remember, we get good at what we practice. And so if you're only trying to tune in at a moment of crisis, at a moment when everything is wrong and everything feels really scary, then, you know, it's going to be hard to trust that guidance in that moment. But if we make it part of our daily practice, that we're listening to the whispers of God in the world that loves to scream, then we can trust it in all moments.
Right. Right.
And the
And that. Okay.
interesting thing in that regard is so many times we're caught up in what was and we're caught up in what will be, and we miss the miracle of the present moment. So when you're working with clients and giving them the little tricks to pull into that present, which is simply take that deep breath and let it release slowly and feel, smell, and taste what is happening around you. That brings us to that point, and then they can hear more, they can feel more. I have clients who ask me repeatedly, when somebody passes away, they'll say, how come they don't talk to me? I said, but you're dreaming about them. I said, yeah, but they don't come and talk to me. Yes, they do in your dreams. We want something different. We want, as Anana said, the burning bush. We want them to materialize right in front of us. The perception of it is literally, if we can understand that what we believe is not always true and be open to something new, we can receive exponentially.
Right. I think that what one thing you just said there, in the world right now, Emmy, is that people don't know what the
Hmm.
truth is right now.
Exactly.
And how do we
Exactly.
deal with that? When people are like, what's true?
Well, one of the things that we would like people to do is when you can connect to your own truth, when you can really connect within and allow yourself to go, okay, this is how I feel in this moment, and this is how what I'm hearing makes me feel. Generally speaking, if it takes you to a point of fear, you're in a space of disconnect. You're in a space out of alignment with your truth. When you can see that truth does not hurt, even if it's quote bad news, it doesn't hurt, it just is. But the lie puts you in fear, the lie causes you anxiety, the lie will create an energy that is out of alignment. So it's really discerning, how do I feel when I'm listening to this?
Inanna, thank you.
Mhm.
When people lie, do they inadvertently, and this is not a question with my opinion, this is literally just a question, do they create a alternative timeline when they lie? What happens energetically when people lie?
Well, I guess what I would say to that first is this something that they believe is true, or is this something that they believe is a lie? Because people can absolutely create false narratives, right? That they truly believe, and it doesn't
Mhm.
necessarily create that negative impact that we see whenever it is more of a deceitful lie. right? And so so every thought you think has a frequency to it, and those words will become feelings and emotions, and then those things became what a point of attraction that then aligns you to the next thing in your timeline, right? And so that little psychic antenna is always going ding 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 ding, and it's always pulling to you. And this is why emotional regulation is so important, because your thoughts become feelings, that the emotions literally determine what happens next. So what I would say is it depends on if that untruth or if that falsehood is something that is malicious, or if that is something that is something. A lot of people lie to themselves because they need to spiritually bypass a trauma, or because they need to survive something, right? So I feel like it is in that. Is this malicious or is this survival? Because those are two different energies, two different emotions. So the self-regulation for that psychic point of attraction will have a different outcome in that regard.
So there's the way you answered the question, thank you, is that there's a lot of different possible outcomes off of a lie, depending on the intention and the energy.
Well, and depending on the person, like let's say you have someone who has a lot of like mental illness, right? And they're not able to discern the truth. And so it's not that they're lying to you for the sake of lying. It's that they don't know as everyone, I have a husband with a brain injury, right? He lives in his own world 95% of the time. And so the things that he thinks are true may or may not be true at all, but it doesn't mean it's a lie. It means that's his reality. It's called confabulation, by the way, in brain injury terms. And so it doesn't create a negative energy or timeline for him, because that's just where his brain is broken. So that's like one way that this could happen. But again, if we're talking about malice, we're talking about, someone like, I want this person to go and beat up my ex-boyfriend. So I'm going to go lie and say something that I know will incite them, right, to go beat up my which I don't have an ex-boyfriend, just so I've only Scott. So, but that does create a negative energy within that timeline, and we don't spiritual bypass things. But what we'll say is, remember, karma is only about the revolution of what you put out comes back. It's that cyclical thing, right? And so karma isn't here to punish you or to say, well, you did this and this and this and this, and here's what you get. It's just about saying that if I lie, I get lied to, right? If I hurt people, we've all heard that expression. So if we're out there hurting people, we're going to experience people hurting us. And if we walk with integrity, truth, and love, then we're going to be surrounded by people who walk with integrity, truth, and love.
All right. Okay. Well, we certainly, with lies, we could certainly change the course of things, unfortunately. So, yeah, you answered it was a good answer to a very loaded question. So, and that's based on, oh, there's a kitty cat. Now that's true love, a kitty cat.
Yes.
Well, that's
If she allows you to hold her, she loves you.
Right, exactly. Yes, I have a cat myself. I know that feeling.
She didn't give me a choice, so.
Yeah, like you get the headbutt. Come on, pet me. So, the question I asked was based on what I started the conversation with earlier, is, people needing truth, wanting to recognize truth, and how do people recognize truth? What does it feel like? Gina Ann, do you want to jump in on that one?
I do, because I feel, one of the worst things people can do to me, I hate to be lied. But I also was a special education teacher for over 18 years. And sometimes when you're in this certain mental, emotional state, they don't believe it's a lie, because it's like an honest, it's what's going on in their head. However, I've also experienced working at the felony court for 11 years, people intentionally lying to for many reasons, right? For revenge, for insecurity. Lying is a loaded word. It's what did they say? Lie is the beholder. And I think people are knowing their own truth as well. That's why they come to us, because they want us to figure it out for them.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. So all the psychics on the panel, have you ever been used as a weapon? I know I have. Where someone lies and says that you said something you didn't say
Oh,
just to
yes.
create
Yes.
Oh yeah,
supporting their own
yeah,
narrative or their own,
yeah.
agenda.
Yeah.
And because of client
Yes.
confidentiality, you really can't defend yourself. And so you're stuck now being used as a weapon in a war that you don't have any part of. Hello.
And you know what? That's where we're like, how you react to the situation becomes a situation. And the best thing
yep.
we can do is go still and silent. Let them believe it. It has no
Exactly.
reflection on you. And anybody who believes that, then that's not in your space and alignment and what client you want around you.
Well,
Exactly.
when people have readings with me, there is a disclaimer that I say on the recording that protects me. And once I say that, it's all on them. I've never been wedged like that, Inanna, but one time, a very good client, and they're still very good clients, the one spouse was kind of off her rocker a little bit and had gone to another psychic. And I get this information very after the fact. And the husband, who's a great guy, calls me and said, "Why did you tell my wife X, Y, and Z?" And I go, "What?" I said, "I have no idea what you're talking about." And da 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 da. He went through it again. I said, "I have no idea what you're talking about." And he said, "Do you mean recently you haven't talked to my wife?" Da 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 da. I said, "I haven't talked to her in a long time." And he said, "Well," he said, "sorry about that." He goes, "Because my wife said a psychic told her that he was doing something out of character. I'll leave it there, and he wasn't." And gee, you're laughing.
Yes.
And they are, to this day, very good clients of mine. She was just off her rails a little bit. She's normally a very stable person, and was having a moment based on her own insecurities. But it could have happened like that, but I wasn't the one that made that prediction. One of my mentors, I should say this is good material for the air. When I was studying, I had a lot of good mentors. They were very specific with us as to what to say and how to say it and what you don't say. And one of our teachers said, "Do not ever tell a client that their spouse is cheating on them." She said, "You can say things like, 'I can see where your marriage needs work,' because there was an actual thing that happened on the East Coast where a psychic told a woman her husband was cheating, and she went and killed him." Okay?
Oh, Lord.
Yep. Yes, this is a true story. Our teacher wouldn't have made this up. So that's why we have to be so careful about the way we say things, because we are responsible for what we say. Viewing audience, all psychics will tell you this. We are responsible for what comes out of our mouth. We are not responsible for what you do with that information. We are not, and that's why I have a disclaimer before every reading. Because then that's why I'm very, you ladies know me that I'm very direct in my regular life and how I say things. But with clients, I am very politically correct about how I say what I say.
Especially about health
So the
issues. I get a
sorry.
lot of, "Oh, what's wrong with me?" or "What's wrong with my mom?" or I say, "I am not a medical doctor."
Right.
I
And
get a
that's,
lot of those
Right.
questions.
and I have to be careful with that because I am a medical intuitive. So I do see what's going
Yes.
on. But in a reading,
Yes.
not in energy work, I'll say, "Look, I'm detecting a little something here. Go get it checked out. Go get this looked at." Okay?
Exactly. That's what I say. I
Yeah.
feel this in my body. So yes, I encourage you to check it out, but I won't give a diagnosis.
No,
No.
no, we're not
No, and that's why
doctors.
I work with medical doctors. They'll send me their patient that becomes my client, and I send back a report of where to look. But just to clarify that one crazy story that I was referencing, the mom went home and told her adult children that the psychic said that they needed to get jobs and move out because she wanted them to get jobs and move out, but I didn't say it. right? And so
That's
I'm
a
having
parenting
dinner with
thing.
my family and someone's banging on my front door and screaming, "You effing," right? And I like we didn't even discuss it. Like it wasn't even on the top. It wasn't even discussed the situation because we were doing something else. But she thought that's what I meant by using me as a weapon. She's like, "Well, I can go home now and say the psychic said, you lazy freeloading people, get out of my house." Because spirit said it was okay. That's what I meant by that. Because that was a wild one, man. That couple showed up at my house.
I believe you. I believe you. I mean, in the
Yeah.
30 some years I've been doing this, I mean, and a lot of my clients know each other, and the way it's worded, well, Nick Newmont said, I mean, it's like the old E.F. Hutton commercials.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
I
One
get
of
a
the
lot where they
things,
get one psychic and then they get another psychic inside, then another psychic, and then it's all confuddled.
And the funny thing
one of the
is,
things,
I
I'm
know
sorry.
go ahead, Emmy, go ahead.
What I was going to say is one of the things that we also are not responsible for is how the person in front of us is interpreting the words that come out of our mouth.
Yep.
Because
Absolutely.
it's like any
That's
other
correct.
conversation. What you say is not always what is heard, or what you say is not always in alignment with what they want to hear. And many people will
Right.
take what you say and maneuver it in their mind to a way that, oh, you told me this. No, these were the
Right.
words that were said. That was how you interpreted it. And then they go,
Yep. Like the
oh,
game telephone. Like the game
yes,
telephone.
exactly. Exactly.
It's funny that I
I
was
always
just
say
saying to,
I'm not responsible for your interpretation. I'll
right,
just give you the message.
you know, I never assume people understand. In fact, I was just having this conversation with Audrey yesterday, and sometimes I say to clients, I'll stop, because we all get on a roll. I'll say, did I say that clearly enough? Do I need to say that again? I don't say, do you understand? You like that? I don't put it on them. I put it on me in that case. Did I say that well enough for you? They say yes, good, then I move on. Oh my, it's not boring, our work, is it?
Never.
No.
Ever.
And you know, a lot of people who
Yeah.
don't understand psychics, visions, and hearing, they think we are like some of them think we are a crystal ball, but there is a science to what we're doing as well. It's just not all woo woo and shakalaka.
Called
That's
quantum
funny.
science.
We have 5 minutes left in the show. Let's start with Mary Elizabeth. What do you have in the last minute or so, whether from you or we, the note that we end this show on tonight?
In the coming days, we ask that you truly consider coming together with us in person, you see, because the connection you will get there will be even more intent on the space of knowledge that you need. Today, we have had fun and we have touched on many topics for you. But most importantly, as we said previously, and we will continue to say every time you see us, you are in charge of how you look at the world. You are in charge of how you look at yourself. And we can each give you a point of clarity, but you have to choose to believe in the person that you call me.
Thank you. Inanna.
Thank you.
So what I would leave with is this is that we really are at a critical moment in our collective and in our individual timelines. So at this moment, every decision that you make is literally building a timeline that is going to not only impact you, your family, your community, but the collective. If there was ever a time to be aware of the things that you're thinking, the emotions that you're holding, and learn how to be in self-regulation, it is absolutely now. We are going to see a lot of things happening over the next couple of months that will be very definitive in what happens in the next phases for humanity. Turn off the news and open your heart and go to love.
Wonderful. Thank you. Jean Ann.
Okay. Well, it's so funny. I just feel Audrey come into space. I'm just feeling her very strongly. I don't know why, and I just feel her. So I have to say that first.
Okay.
Also, I would encourage everyone, you know, when you have a book, don't go to the end to read it. Read the pages because it could change the outcome of the end page. And so for now, stay in this present moment and invite play in your life. Everything is not always grit and let's look at the playful. Let's go back to our inner child. It will make everything lighter. And I am just looking forward to this Saturday and engaging and connecting with everyone here. And I thank you, you know, for being in the dark here and accepting me in the dark driving home. And
How
everyone that joins
symbolic.
here and joins Saturday. Yes, right? Haha.
Right. Right.
There is light. We are the light. We are all the light. And I'm looking forward to Saturday. And I can feel the magic of what's going to happen on Saturday. And it's going to keep bouncing off that day. People are going to get such an earful, a heartful, a mouthful. Just come and experience it.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. This Saturday at the Newmont Center from 11 to 2 is the panel. Private readings before, if you choose, and private readings after. I'm looking forward. I'm not going to end with any words of knowledge or anything. I just wanted to defer to the three of you. I'm looking forward to Saturday being able to play with the three of you and have fun, and just let it roll. I know that Merlin will appear. I'm not going to
Yes.
say everything. Merlin is going to show up on an. He just does whatever. I think in the minute left, I'd like to go one more time and start with Mary Elizabeth. Say how do people get in touch with you for private readings for Saturday, please?
Just text me at 661-524-4544.
Thank you.
And then I'm 323-330-4454.
Okay. And Gina, 310-617-6215. And I will show up early. You just give me the time and we'll work with you.
Wonderful.
We'll co-create.
Exactly. And any general questions about Saturday, call the center at 818-865-8770. Ladies, thank you for coming on the show tonight. Thank you for coming Saturday to be part of the event. And also, thank you for being an ongoing part of the Center in Mainstream Metaphysics. This is certainly not your last appearance on Mainstream Metaphysics. It is a metaphysical show. So, as a group or individually, you will be back on. And I appreciate your input. And, just, I think come the next couple days, get your rest. I think Saturday you're going to need it. I think it's going to be a little intense because by the time we get to Saturday, we're in the sign of Scorpio, and that's not for it's not for the faint of heart.
Yes. Yikes.
All right. All right. We're going to say goodnight. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. To those of you that have been watching tonight,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much. Please, please, please show up Saturday. Look forward to taking care of you. And again, remember, next Tuesday night is the 90-minute 5-year anniversary of Mainstream Metaphysics. I am really looking forward to that. It'll be the best show that we've ever done because it's all pre-planned. And even with that, things unfold in a funny way. Anyway, ladies, have a good night. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you three ladies and many more this coming Saturday at the Center. Thanks so much. Be blessed, everyone, and have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.